estate planning in Massachusetts without the fluff. My name is Jill. I'm an estate planning attorney, and I've seen what happens when no one is in charge. This series isn't about documents, it's about control, clarity, and preventing families from learning hard lessons in probate court. Because probate court doesn't care what you meant to do. I work with smart people, capable people, people who run businesses, raise families, make hard decisions every day. And many of them avoid estate planning, not because they don't understand it, but because it's uncomfortable. Estate planning forces people to slow down and think about things they'd rather not think about. Mortality, money, family dynamics. So instead, people tell themselves a story. I'm healthy. I'm not old. We don't have enough assets yet. We'll deal with that later. Later feels safer. Later feels easier. And later feels like control. But later is not a plan. And avoiding the conversation doesn't avoid the consequences. It just postpones them, usually until a moment when someone is sick or injured and can't speak for themselves. That's when families realize what they didn't decide. Here's what I see over and over again. People assume estate planning is something you do after something bad happens. But estate planning is supposed to happen before things fall apart. It's preventative. It's meant to create calm before there's chaos. People avoid it because they're afraid of opening a door, afraid it will lead to conflict, afraid it will turn into an argument about money, afraid it will feel morbid or uncomfortable or overwhelming. But what actually creates the conflict is silence. What actually creates chaos is ambiguity. When no one is clearly in charge, everyone thinks they should be. And when emotions are high, opinions turn into accusations. I see families who genuinely love each other end up divided, not because they were irresponsible, not because they didn't care, because they were busy raising kids, busy working, busy living. They assumed they would have time. They assumed someone would step in. They assumed it would be simple. Love is not legal authority. Good intentions do not replace planning. And probate doesn't care how close your family is. One of the biggest myths around estate planning is that avoiding it keeps the peace. It doesn't. It delays the conflict until it happens at the worst possible moment. When people are grieving, when stress is already high, when there's no clear direction, that's when the courts get involved. Not because the court wants to, but because no one else was given the authority. Estate planning is uncomfortable because it asks people to be honest. Honest about what could happen. Honest about who should be in charge. Honest about what matters most. That honesty is actually a gift. It gives your family clarity instead of questions, direction instead of debate, relief instead of resentment. I don't expect people to enjoy estate planning. That's not the goal. The goal is peace of mind. The goal is knowing that if something unexpected happens, your family isn't left guessing, that they're not scrambling, that they're not fighting in a courtroom over decisions that could have been made ahead of time. You don't need to do everything today. You don't need to have a perfect plan, but avoiding the conversation entirely is the most expensive choice of all because the cost isn't just legal fees. It's emotional. It's relational. It's the weight you leave behind for other people to carry. Discomfort now is cheaper than chaos later. Estate planning isn't about fear. It's about responsibility. It's about deciding while you're clear-headed instead of forcing decisions during a crisis and choosing to act before someone else has to step in and decide for you because probate doesn't care why you waited.